Hello and welcome. I'm going to quickly show you how the Deere Systems manufacturing or assembly process works. And we're going to use a very simple product to manufacture with two raw materials. It will ultimately reduce the raw material to manufacture or increase the finished product's quantity on hand. So let's get started. Okay, so this is the finished product. You can see I'll just call it FG123. It is an assembly bound product, as we can see at the bottom here. And if we go to its bill of materials, so yours will be on the left hand side, probably more, it'll probably look something like this. So you can go to bill of materials. And so we can see we got a raw material 1 and raw material 2. We use two quantities of each, but we got a 50% wastage here. So that's 50% of 2, that equals to 1. And so we're going to use 3 of this and 2 of that. Right, so now we don't specify a supplier for this because we are the suppliers, we make this item, so we're not going to do that. And then currently we've got nothing in stock because we've already sold 400. We had 299 in stock, and 101 is currently busy being made. So yes, if we want to see where that 400 has been allocated, we can click on it. It will say this guy's busy purchasing it. We won't be able to fulfill it completely yet because I'm just going to make this a bit bigger. Well, so okay, yep. So this opened up, and we can see it's still on back order because we don't have enough. We sold 400. If we highlight that and we just hover over it, we can see we only got 299 available. We sold this out of Sydney, and so yeah, we basically see that there's that order. If we go back, we can see this stock available. We can look at the bill of materials. So we've already looked at that. Now let's go into those individual items. So I'm just going to show you. I've got them set up. I've got a minimum order trigger point and my reorder quantity, as well as my supplier setup in here. Right, so that can also be something like 500. And, what was the quantity? Can't remember. Let's open up that again. 10. Let's just say 10. All right. So 10 and 10. And the same for this guy. I've got him set up here as 1,010, and then over here, let's just say 1,010. So we'll save that. And what are we going to do is we're going to sell more of this finished product because that's typically, what might trigger the fact that we need to manufacture more. But what can additionally trigger it is just the simple process of how many do we have available and what is this minimum quantity over here. So let's have a look. I'm going to go to purchases and reorder. So let's have a look. Right, so that's me, and I can see it's currently saying, you know what, I need to, I've got minus 400 available of this item, and I need to reorder. Now it does say 600, and the reason it says 600 is because I've got 6 locations, and yeah, so you have to set it up either per location. So you can go into reorder levels and set it up per location, or if you're just going to use the standard level, it will multiply by the amount of locations you've got. So keep that in mind. The one is a global figure, the other one is a per warehouse figure. So if you use more than one warehouse, come in here and specify that. Now, I'm not going to go into that right now. I've got 6 warehouses. It says, okay, 6 times 100 and 6 times 50, and that's what it's going to reorder for me. You can see there's no price. And the reason for that is because if I'm going to go and say reorder here, it's going to create a assembly order as opposed to a purchase order. So if I click on that assembly order, we will see it open up. And immediately we can see, all right, it says, okay, here's your assembly order. This is what I want you to make. And the next thing it's going to do is it's going to say, all right, well, you need 900 of this. Why 900? Well, because we want to make 300. That's the minimum, right? We need to at least make 300. We can change that to 600 or 500 or whatever. But you would have remembered that the first item was times, that's the wrong one. Let me just minimize that. The first item was 3 quantity and the second item was 2 quantity. So if we say 3 times 500, that's 1500, and 2 times obviously 500 is 1000. So that's why this is the total that we need in order to manufacture that. So if we say no, we just want to make 5, it's going to still say, hey, you still need some at that location. So keep that in mind, and then also remember the warehouse that you are in. But I'm going to say if we want to make, let's say 200, and I can see I don't have enough stock. I would have had enough stock if I of raw material number 2 if I only made 100. So I'll just show you if I say 100, because 100 times 2 is 200, and that's less. So we can see that goes black, not red. But let's go 200. And so I'm going to say authorize that. Now authorize basically just says I'm committed. If I go to pick and I'm going to go pick all of this stuff, and if I'm going to say process, it's in fact not going to let me continue because I don't have enough stock. Alright, so over here I can see raw material 2, I've got enough available. I thought we did not have enough available, but I'll go and investigate that in a second. It might just be a transaction, or it might just be looking at all locations or something like that. So okay, so I just went in. I can see that I've got 427 on hand. It said previously 225 available because we had another sales order or another assembly process that is going to consume some of these products. Now, because the other assembly process has not yet consumed these items, it is still available for us to consume it in this manufacturing or assembly process. So that's why it says it's got 427 available. That's what it's saying there, and it says, yep, you can go ahead. If we're going to go to the other assembly process, it will also say it's got it available. But if we're going to first process this one, it's going to go, it won't allow us to let the other one go through. Now, the other thing that's important to remember is it does keep track of how much are allocated, so that if we need to reorder this, it will know that there's minus 175 available, and that's an automatic reordering process. So let's continue here. So we'll leave this as such, and now because we see a red, we need to know, we know that we need to run a purchase process. So we can go and say reorder back ordered. In fact, let me just say save this. And I'm going to go to purchases. I'm going to say reorder back ordered. So that's now the second thing that's important. So the first one we said run a reorder, and this one says run a back order. So let's just have a look there. So we can see raw material 1 and raw material two over in here. Okay, now I can't remember. I think the one is from Nike or Nike, depending on how you say it. Just go in there. So this is raw material number one. We can see the supplier is Nike. The SKU is raw 123. We are saying, we want to reorder 10 at a time. So let's just have a look. What do we have over here? We've got Nike. So I clicked on Nike. It says that. It says we got 184 on hand. This is what we got available. This is what we got on order coming in. This is what we have on back order. This is what it's suggesting us currently to order. But in fact, we can see that that's not quite enough yet. So, we can make that 1,000. If we had the price filled in here, like latest price of $12, or let's just do that. Let's say $13. Let me save that. In fact, let me re-click on that. Let's see if there's a refresh somewhere. Let's say select. Let's say refresh. There we go. So we can see the $12 coming through. So if I say Nike, just show me everything for Nike. Okay, there we go. So $12. So I'm going to make this a 1,000 quantity, and I'm just going to say reorder that. Okay. And then the second thing is this Amore cheese. So that's the second product. So we can see my supplier is that's Amore cheese, and I have a price of $5 filled in there. So let's have a look what it came through as. Yep, $5. I can say, you know what, I don't want to order that today. I see I got 427 on hand. We've got minus 107 available because that's how much we have already allocated. But I can go and say, I want to order 500. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do there, and I'm going to say reorder. And if there you can see it created purchase orders. And so now if we're going to go into purchase orders, so purchases, we will see those last two purchase orders for Nike, and that's Amore cheese. We can see it says 0, doesn't it? But the moment you're going to click into it, the totals will populate. Okay, so the totals populate. This is the supplier with all its details. There we can see the raw material number one with quantity 1,000, and so basically we can authorize it, and then send them an email, receive the stock, and in fact let's do that. Let's say authorize. I'll say receive the stock. I'm going to say receive the stock. Okay, that's received, and I'm not going to do the invoice right now. So let me go to the other purchase order. So I just you can see this is the second purchase order, and there we go. And I'm just going to receive the stock. So I'm going to say copy that. Everything looks fine. Authorize that. And so we got all of the raw material in at this stage. So I'm going to go back to the assembly process. Right, so I just came back to this assembly process. It told me that it's not yet finished. It's authorized, and I'm going to coming to pick. I can see that everything is black at this stage, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to say, let me in fact say auto pick again. There we go. We can then see that the cost is now populating because we have purchased it. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to say allocate and complete. And then what we'll see is there's a movement of 200 items on my finished product, and it will have a cost. In fact, if we can do that, if we take the price, so we can see it's almost $8,000. So 8,000 divided by 200, that should be, I think, about 40 or about 30, almost $39 per item. So let's go into that item. This is now finished, so I can just go back. Okay, there we go. So if I go into my product itself and I go to you would remember this is the bill of materials, and if we go to movement, I can see that I have received on today's date on that assembly process 200 items which I finished at that cost. And I think there's a few things that I can select at the top here, quantity, movement, and so forth. All right, and if we look at stock currently, we can see that I've got in my main warehouse $4.99 because I've obviously just added that 200. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you've learned something, and I'll see you in the next one.